And bam, just like that. Food Wars, it's over. What a ride it's been, man. What a ride it's been from the start of this series to the end. Even though, some people will say, season five wasn't the best and it definitely dropped in terms of things we, had expected and things, from past seasons. But at the end of the day, I still enjoyed watching Food Wars season five from week to week to week to week. Despite the problems it did have, I'm not going to lie, it had its fair share of problems. Did it extremely feel rushed? No doubt about it. It extremely felt rushed, but again, I guess you could say on that side, you can blame the author who did the manga at the time, because at the time, from what I heard, he was trying to rush the story and get it over with because he wanted to, I guess, essentially be done with the story. Um, and yeah, like I said, I'm gonna, talk about this review. This review is gonna be about the episode as well as I'm gonna give my thoughts, on, Food Wars as a whole. And then I'll probably come back maybe next week and do a season five review of Food Wars to officially end off me talking Food Wars, probably for really the rest of my channel. You know, like I said yesterday with my teen romantic comedy. The only thing I'm probably gonna go back with that is maybe review really, you know, the first three seasons of the anime, or the three seasons of the anime, and then that's it. No more of me talking about that unless I somehow get a hold of the light novels and read them, which I don't think I will, because I'm already busy as a person as I am right now. And then plus money, and I'm already trying to save up money for a PS5, but okay. But yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna get to it, and yeah. So this is Food Wars season 5, episode 13, titled Food Wars, and hey, I like the title. I always like anime that the titles to their series finale typically is really the name of the show. So, anyways, we all know, like last week, Erina, she's trying to rush through everything and she's completely lost herself. And even Mana knows, like, she's going through the same thing, that she went through, and that's just going through the curse and the despair of having the God's tongue and everything. Soma again, like we said from last week, he tried her dish a bit. He's like, man, come on. If we're gonna have a good food war, you gotta give me your all. And he said, this dish I'm gonna be making is just gonna be just for the bookmaster as well as for you, and stuff like that. Now, after he's done making the dish, we see that the dish Soma makes is somewhat of the dish with a combination of her dish from way back in season 1 at the training camp, when she kind of outshined Soma, as well as it's a mixture of his dish he made back for Erina back in his room back in the 3rd season. So I do love the callbacks, from this freaking. But really, the final dish of the show is they bring they have the comebacks of the things between Soma and Erina and the relationship and stuff like that. And I'll get to the thing about the relationship, which some people might not like, but hey, you get what you get. You got to deal with it. So yeah. Anyways, he made a dish for the bookmaster and the Erina. He goes on to say to Erina, like, yeah, this dish I'm making, it ain't the same dish as when I made it in my room the last time. And again, the whole thing is he wants her to say my food is delicious, which was kind of the thing about this episode. And the dish he makes is called Soma style eggs Benedict over rice fit for a queen. So one, I just gotta say, if this isn't Soma somewhat professing his love for Erina, I don't know what that says. Like, he's like, I'll get to it. I'll get to it about that. Like I said, the egg Benedict actually comes from way back in season 1 when they were doing the training camp, when they had to make, I think, like 200 dishes for people to eat, and then they would have to, I think, pay for it as well. So that was way back in season 1. If I'm wrong on that, please put that in the comment section. Now, in her head, Erina makes the point of saying how delicious this dish is, which is obviously true to the Erina character because we know she won't admit it to Soma Yukihira that his food is delicious, but in her head, she says it's a pretty delicious dish. So she kind of said, yeah, Soma kind of got what he wanted in her saying his food is delicious. But she's keeping it to herself in her heart because she doesn't want Soma to freaking know. Because Soma, he'll be like, yes, I finally did it! And stuff like that. Anyways, the gifting, comes on between Mana and Erina both at the same time. And essentially what happens this time is it's like some kind of much more advanced gifting than what we saw the last few weeks. This actually has an effect on the damn building. It breaks the freaking building down. Well, the walls that they're in and stuff like that. After that happens, Erina says his food is disgusting. Again, to true Erina character. Because even though it was so funny, like, I still wish at the end of the day, I guarantee you if the author had spent more time on it, I guarantee you at the end of the day, especially with that finale scene, you would have had Erina probably admit openly to Soma, like, your food is delicious, and I would love to keep on trying it, and stuff like that. But, again, to the typical Erina character, she says his food's disgusting, and because of it, it gets Erina back to being the Erina we all knew and love, and that's the one that actually goes back to competing with Soma over these food battles and stuff like that. And you can clearly see, and even Mana the thing Soma did is, he said to her, like, yeah, it's good that you're back to your old self because, the one thing you need to do is realize you need to cook for somebody, other than yourself and cook for that person you yearn for. And the person, Erina, yearns and always dedicates her cooking to is her mom because she wants her mom to recognize her cooking and, really love her cooking and stuff like that. I also do think a little bit also of her cooking, has mutual feelings, romantic feelings towards Soma as well. I think also here, especially in this scene, I think it's honestly confirmed that Soma, whenever he decides to cook, whenever Erina's in the area, he decides to cook for Erina. So I think that's a nice subtle way of saying like, oh, Soma really does love Erina and really does like Erina and stuff like that. Now, what happens is we cut over and they're celebrating Soma. Second place defeat to Erina. So yes, Erina beats Soma at the blue and he is pissed off. Can I just say, his friends are wrong for that. Celebrating the fact, okay, yes, you competed in the blue, but you got second place. I know second place is still pretty good, but I'm like, what the heck's going on here? Sorry. I saw that, I was like, what the heck? I'm like, okay, and he's all depressed about it and stuff like that. And yeah, what we actually find out in the background of what Hayama and Ryu were doing because we also at the blue, we also see the other, Totsuki Seed of 10 members as well as past members, of the Totsuki Seed of 10, as well as some other characters we've seen in the past of the show at the finals for the blue. What happens is with the Noir is, some member, thanks to Ayazan, they gathered the current member of the 10, some of them that weren't going to the blue, as well as some past members of the 10. And essentially, they stopped the Noir members from, I guess, putting these illegal ingredients, which probably would have helped Asahi win the blue, competition. And they put a stop to that. And, they kind of just made it, where they didn't do that stuff anymore. And then at the end, they knew, Noir was going to disband thanks to Asahi. Also, Asahi was there watching the finals as well. So, yeah. Anyways, after the main group gets the whole details and they're like, hey, you guys did a good job at Blue, and Megumin and Takumi are like, oh, that's great and everything and stuff like that. They also bring up the point like, where's Erina? And what we find out is Erina actually went back to the mansion because Mana, her mother, is returning back to the mansion. And and then you cut over to a before that, they actually asked, where did Soma go? And Joichiro was like, oh yeah, he left this note saying he's gonna leave for a couple of months and he'll be back because he's off training and stuff like that. So again, like typical Soma. And they had the whole little scene where it's like in the ending of this season where he would walk, on his own. And then this is when we get some revelations here. One, we see, like I said, Erina now is going to be cooking for her mom because she's the bookmaster's, personal chef, which I think it is adorable that, mother and daughter reunite like this. I also think, too, it seems like Anne, one of the past judges, is also, I guess you could say, Mana's, like, servant, like how, not Hisoka, Hisako is to Erina in a way. So I'm guessing that's another thing. Erina actually tells her mom, I would like to eat as a family one day. And essentially, Azumi is right behind her. And then this is when we get the confirmation because Azumi actually tells Erina, more about, the fact that he is not going to be staying at the mansion for long. And, he got, in his way, he got lost with, trying to please, Mana and try to save her. One night in New York, I guess you could say he was drinking or sulking in alcohol. And this one woman comes up on him and Jesus, I'm getting notifications after notifications after notifications. My God. We see this revelation here that, like I said, he was sulking in his drinking binge of alcohol. This woman comes up on him, and like I said, and it was brought up last week of the fact that it's interesting how Asahi looks somewhat eerily similar to Azumi. Well, we get the confirmation here that essentially what Azumi did is he kind of had another relationship with another woman in America, and he essentially is the father of Asahi, which means Asahi is Erina's stepbrother. Okay. Wow. He goes on to say he's gonna go live on with that family. Erina kind of slaps him for that and says, how could you do something so despicable like that? And, before I talk about my thoughts on Asahi being revealed as the stepbrother to Erina, they have this one scene where all the Nakaris are in some kind of, I would say, I guess either their, mansion backyard or some park or somewhere, some forest or somewhere, and they're having a family dinner. And Asahi is there. You have freaking Erina calling him Oni-san, which is the Japanese word for brother. Okay, I was like, okay, yeah, the entire family was there. I don't know if they showed his, Azumi's other wife. One, I gotta say, man, I'm shocked that Mana didn't flip out that he got with another woman at the time. But okay, my thing about, Asahi being revealed to be the stepbrother of Erina, wow. Not to say that Jesus, they almost took it a incest type of level way. Good thing that that didn't go too far there. But at the end of the time, you have some people probably say like that's kind of freaking disgusting. But regardless, they're just stepbrother and stepsister, and it seems like Asahi seems like he's turned the corner for the better because now he in reality he is in the Nakari family when instead he wanted to marry into the Nakari family. But guess what? You're the stepbrother of Erina, So you'll be able to have many more memories with your stepsister and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, Erina, after all that starts thinking of Soma. And we cut to we get a 6-month time skip. So 6 months later, Soma returns back to, well, I guess you can say Japan, wherever he went. He comes back and he goes back to Yukihira. Erina was actually waiting for him because Soma contacted her to be like, go wait at my diner. And I'm like, and stuff like that. This is when we get the revelation here. Now, because he was on his 6-month hiatus, thanks to Erina, kind of prolonging his thing, she's like, you can't get held back for this because you missed your third year place, your third year, advancement exams and stuff. He's like, yeah, I know, and stuff like that, but it doesn't matter. I'm here so I can cook for you, so I can make you finally say my food is delicious. And this is when we get the confirmation here, because Erina goes on to say this, saying like, I thought you'd come back sooner because I wanted to cook right beside you. Essentially, we get the confirmation. She doesn't tell it directly to Soma, but in the deepest darks of her heart, in her feelings, we find out the truth, which, like, everybody freaking knew, that she is in love with Soma, and she, she says her heart longs for Soma as well as his cooking. But that's just an indirect confirmation of her finally, admitting that she's in love with Soma. And then, it seems like they're probably going to have a moment together for, just between the two, because he even asked her, like, so what would you like me to cook for you? Or what would you like me to cook for you? And she's like, your usual, dish you typically make, essentially, that they make at the diner. And he's like, okay, I'll get started on it. And that's when I was like, no! Because the other people freaking came in, Megumin and the others came in to say, so you've been gone for 6 months. You put so much work on us and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'll take it, but you still ruined a good moment between Soma and Erina. Because I felt like it was just those two alone. I feel like maybe Soma would have freaking gave a confirmation of how he feels about Erina. But yeah, the episode ends off there as Soma makes his typical nasty freaking dish, and then you have the characters like, and then Erina saying, yes, this is disgusting. And then you just get that nice panel shot, which is the thumbnail of this video, of, the end of Food Wars, and them saying, I'm glad you enjoyed, our show, essentially, in the way. And yeah, that was the end of Food Wars. And man, what a, I guess you could say bittersweet end, but like I said, all things must come to an end. Quick thing about the Soma Erina little thing going on. It's not gonna be what some people probably wanted. Some people probably wanted, both characters to finally admit to each other that they do like each other in a romantic type of way. We did get the confirmation from Erina's in her, head and in her feelings. She never told Soma that, oh, I love you, Soma. Like, Yukino did, yesterday with Hikagaya, but also I also think in Soma's case, he does, have the same feelings for Erina, which means he loves Erina because, like I said, the last couple of episodes, all he was thinking about was Erina, as well as, they give comments in this episode from him that, he's cooking for Erina just to say, that his food's delicious. Like I said, if that isn't a confirmation of him saying, I'm going to keep cooking for you till you finally say my dish is delicious, if that isn't something for someone to say, or an indirect way of someone saying, oh, I'm going to be here for essentially the rest of your life, and I'm going to be with you for the rest of your life till you finally admit it, even if we're old and freaking, decrepit, I will get you to say that my food is delicious. So he is taking his father's aspect of, cooking for that one person, he is. Now, personally, obviously, unless Food Wars were to give us an OVA of that takes place of and it would have to be an anime only OVA where it would take place definitely after this episode where we see, I guess you could see maybe the potential things going on in the future for these characters, even though we technically know that Soma and Erina more than likely probably in the future, if they were to do like an OVA, they would probably more than likely hook up and later down in the road get married to each other. I always said, like, I feel like a good way if they were to ever do an OVA like that, have them graduate from Totsuki. Maybe you have a few weeks after you have Soma, I guess, indirectly give a proposal of marriage to Erina, and essentially he says, why don't you just drop out of being director of Totsuki and you come with me and work with me at Yukihira and stuff like that, which would be an indirect way of saying, like, hey, will you marry me, in a way. I think Erina would have definitely been down to do that, but hey, we get what we get here. So for the people who are shipping Soma and Erina, you kind of have your shipping confirmation here, where they, like I said, Soma doesn't admit it, but he indirectly says he loves Erina, really through his cooking and the way he wants her to get her to say that his food's delicious. While you have Erina finally admit that after all these seasons, that she loves Soma, even though she doesn't say it to him. So I know it probably isn't the thing that most Soma X Erina fans wanted to hear or see, but I still thought, I was like, because I'm a Soma X Erina fan, and I'm like, you know what? It was a good conclusion to their love story. We know that they'd probably more than likely hook up later down in the lifetime and stuff like that, and keep the Yukihira Nakari name going on and stuff like that. I would say they will probably make very good cooking babies. But anyways, regardless of the fact, my thoughts on Food Wars as the series as a whole, I really enjoyed Food Wars. I was actually late to getting into Food Wars when the series already had like 4 seasons going on by the time. And the way I actually got into Food Wars was back when Dragon Ball Super was always airing on Toonami. Back in that time, which was like, about a year ago. They would always show the trailers for, Food Wars, the first season and stuff like that. And I was like, seems like an interesting show. I would see it on Netflix and stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll check it out. And I gave it a watch and I liked it. And to say that I loved an anime that mostly really talked about, food, and cooking and stuff like that. It's like, it was a really good show. And, Food Wars, like I said, season 5, some people are going to say they hated season 5. Some people are going to say, regardless. But at the end of the day, I think we all can say as Food War fans, this was a wild ride. Regardless if you hated season 5 of this show or loved it to death, it was still a crazy ride. And the fact that we still got up, to see these episodes, man, it was a wild ride. And I'm going to really miss Food Wars. Like, it was that anime where I laughed all over the place because the characters are so endearing and so heartwarming and so great. And, like I said with my teen romantic comedy yesterday, I could watch the series from season 1 to season 5 all over again, just many, 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 many times over and over and over again and stuff like that. And I'm really going to miss the series. I really am, Food Wars was one of those series where, it might just be an option. You're like, I'll check it out. And then you'll just love it. And, it sucks to see that Food Wars is gone. But, I really did enjoy this series. And like I said, I'm going to say it like I did my teen romantic comedy. If you're checking out this video for the first time, and I know, like I said, I just gave spoilers to the conclusion of this series. But if you have not seen Food Wars, you're doing yourself a terrible injustice of not seeing this show. I really did enjoy this show, and I think if you watch the show, you really will enjoy it. And one, I gotta say thank you for the creators of Food Wars. I don't know who the author of Food Wars is. Thank you for making Food Wars. You know, you gotta thank the author for making this, series. If it wasn't for him, this wouldn't even be in existence. As well as thank you for the animation studio. I don't know who did the studio for this, for Food Wars as a whole, but thank you to them for giving us a really good anime adaptation of Food Wars. And I really am going to miss it. And yeah, so it's another series that has ended, which, it's another series. It's one of another anime that has ended this round of the summer animes. And this, like My Teen Romantic Comedy, it's over. We will more than likely not be getting any more content. Now, like I said, I know for My Teen Romantic Comedy, they're doing some, novels based on their last year. But for Food Wars, it's over. It's done. No more Food Wars whatsoever. Like I said, would I appreciate getting maybe, an OVA, an anime-only OVA, where we just see, them after their years of Totsuki to see what they do going forward with the characters we all love and know go, forward. That would be nice. But I doubt we would get an OVA like that. But still, hey, if they announce, oh, we're going to give you a final anime-only OVA, I'll take it and I'll watch it most definitely. Obviously, you have to get the rundown with the author and, you have to, with the legal stuff, Japan will have to be like, okay, yeah, we're greenlit to do that stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed Food Wars, and that's really it. So again, for people who checked all my Food Wars, reviews, every Friday, even that one time during the freaking hiatus we got of this show, thank you. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for checking out, these videos to get my thoughts on a show that I love dearly. I also do have past season reviews from Food Wars season 1 through 4. In my in a playlist on my channel. And like I said, next week I'll probably do a Food Wars season 5 review, just give my thoughts on the season as a whole and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, guys, because one, I'm about to go to work, and two, I want to go watch some more animes like Fire Force and Rent a Girlfriend, which is ending today. Other than that, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. And yeah, so if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on Food Wars as a whole. Did you like everything that they put in this episode? Were you a fan of Season 5? Were you not? Was there some issues you had with it? I'd like to hear your, thoughts. As well as hit that subscribe button, to get not only Food Wars content, just to see my past stuff of it, but get other anime content I make. I'm about to make, I got a Fire Force video I'm going to record later today. And then I'm also going to record, a Rent a Girlfriend, season 1 thoughts of that, because, hey, I enjoyed that show too. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. So till then, guys, peace.